What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be talking about ChatGPT because it's been taking the internet by storm. And what does this mean for the future of tech? What does it mean for the future of me as a software engineer, my job? Is it going to take it? So we're going to talk about more about what ChatGPT is and what the future entails for it. So let's get started. ChatGPT is a chatbot that was released by a company called OpenAI back in November 2022. But what it really is a chatbot that specializes in natural language processing, right? So what you would do is you will input some text, a question, statement, and ChatGPT will return or do some processing based on the text that was received, do some processing and return a response, right? But a human response, a human-like response, and the response can entail text, right? It can entail a video, which is MP4, all that good stuff, images, based on what you asked it or based on the statement that you provided. So that's why it's taking the internet by storm, because there's so many use cases for this AI, right? You have people that's asking them or asking ChatGPT to look over their resume. You have ChatGPT providing travel itineraries. You have ChatGPT generating code for people. So ChatGPT is taking over the internet because of the versatility of what it can do. And it's only going to increase because the reason AI is so amazing because based on the things that you feed it, the better and more accurate it gets, right? It's essentially training itself based on the continual information that it's receiving. So let's go back a little bit. Where did this come from, right? So this ChatGPT chatbot was created by a company called OpenAI, right? So OpenAI is a AI research and development company. It's privately owned. The goal of OpenAI is to make sure that it creates a ecosystem of artificial general intelligence that befits all of humanity. So essentially creating a nice ecosystem for everybody to be able to use AI and for it to be be used for useful things in society. It is, like I said, a privately owned company, but a big investor in OpenAI is Microsoft. They initially invested $1 billion into OpenAI, so they have a pretty big stake in it. But OpenAI has some other investors as well, like Elon Musk also invested in it initially. I just read a couple of days ago that Microsoft is actually adding another $10 billion of investment money to OpenAI, and Microsoft has a pretty big stake in OpenAI, and it even has exclusive licensing for Microsoft. So I believe GPT-3 is exclusively licensed to Microsoft, which we'll talk about a little bit more because it is going to be pretty important in regards to ChatGPT. The goal for OpenAI is to create artificial general intelligence that befits all of humanity. That is their goal. And what they specialize in is creating AI models. Now you're probably wondering, what is AI modeling? Just wait up. I actually got the definition for you, so let me just read it for you. So the definition of AI modeling by Intel is AI modeling is the creation, training, and deployment of machine learning algorithms that emulate logical decision making based on the available data. So that sounds pretty close to what I just said about ChatGPT. To continue, AI models provide a foundation to support advanced intelligence methodologies such as real-time analytics, predictive analytics, and augmented analytics. So I'll leave a link in the description for the Intel definition, and you can read a little article that Intel has in regards to AI modeling, but that is the definition that Intel has for AI modeling. So OpenAI, like I said, is not just a one-trick pony. ChatGPT is not their only product that they have. They specialize in AI modeling, and each AI model has its own specific use case. So they even have an AI model called ADA, which is ADA, which specializes in parsing text as well as address correction, which is pretty cool. So if you have an address that's like misformatted, right, it fixes it for you, or it attempts to fix it based on the training model, right? And then, as we discussed, we have GPT-3, which is the base of ChatGPT. And what GPT-3 does is that it does natural language processing, right? So it takes human text, right, and it processes that text. So that sounds very close to what ChatGPT does, which, like I said, is the base, right? The base of ChatGPT is GPT-3, and all they did was they fed it more data or more human text, and it's trained a little bit more to be able to answer those questions that you provided, right? It's able to process the human text and then output a response. So this is why ChatGPT is often called GPT 3.5, because like I said, it is the base, but it is trained a little bit more, so it's able to do more, right? But the base is GPT 3. You can think of GPT 3 as the parent, right? So now that we got a gist of the company and the product, let's talk about the future. How does that look like for someone like me, for someone like you, and someone that's oblivious to all this, someone that's just using it just to use it, right? So let's talk about that a little bit more. All right, so we're already seeing the future with Microsoft already integrating ChatGPT into their browser, which is Edge, right? We thought Edge was dead in the water, but Microsoft was like, no, we have this product, and we're going to use it to its fullest potential, which I love, right? That's the whole point of software engineering. That's the whole point of tech, right? So what Microsoft plans on doing is integrating ChatGPT not only into their browser, which is Edge, but also into their search engine, which is Bing, right? Two products that we thought were dead in the water. There's no way anybody can compete with Google or Google Chrome. Microsoft has made its investment into OpenAI and into their product to be able to put it into their own product and make sure that they can have a piece into that search engine and that browser market, right? It's completely dominated by Google right now, but they have made their push by integrating ChatGPT into their products to make that push to get more of a market share of what Google and Google Chrome has already. Now, it isn't a perfect world and everything doesn't just work on one go. I'm already reading about people complaining about ChatGPT and how it's giving wrong responses, and it's not even relatively close to the response that it's supposed to be. But this is very expected as a software engineer. You probably already know, or even if you're not, software engineering, there's phases, right? So I would consider this the beta phase, right? There's already a wait list actually for people signing up to be a part of Microsoft Bing is what they're calling it, which is going to be their search engine, and they're gonna have, like I said, they're gonna have their own browser. But there's already a wait list for it because a lot of people are interested in it. And during this phase, what they're doing is they're taking in all this input. Okay, what is right, what is wrong, and all that is doing is training this AI to be able to give better responses in the future, right? This is needed. This is how it grows. This is how it gets better. This is how it gets more accurate. So this is just gonna be a phase. It might take some time or it might be fast, but initially it's gonna start off a little bit incorrect, but it's gonna correct itself. I just like the fact that Microsoft took the initiative of taking a product that they have and just making sure that it's useful for things that they already have integrated in their system. And it's not even about just the responses. Like security wise, how secure is ChatGPT? Can someone use ChatGPT to bypass certain security checks? Like these are certain things that Microsoft is looking for. So this is a rough phase that is just needed. But like I said, I like the fact that Microsoft took the initiative to try to be better, to try to use a new product with the other products to make something completely different, right? And Google's already trying to do its own version of it called Google Bard, which I'll talk about in another video. But you can see that this is kind of a race to seeing who can do what, right? The first or the best, right? So it's kind of pushing for an improvement in the AI space of engineering. So what does this mean for me as a software engineer? Should I be worried? Is it going to take my job? Should I get into the AI space? Should I learn about machine learning and AI development? Those are pretty tough questions. Let me try my best to answer it, right? Honestly, when I first saw what ChatGPT can do, I honestly got scared for a second for entry-level engineers because of the fact that it can do pretty much most things, right? Like I saw that it was able to write full test suites, fully functional test suites. I saw that it was able to write infrastructure as code. So if you needed a Terraform, file with certain services, it can do that. It can also write back-end services. I saw pretty basic ones and a little bit more advanced ones as well. So the power of ChatGPT was pretty heavy, and initially I thought, okay, entry level might be useless, but I thought about this as well. Like you still need people, just because you have something generating code for you, you still need people to maintain it. You still need people to make sure that it's correct. So I don't see it necessarily being an issue, and you also still need people to make sure that the architecture is correct, to make sure that everything is placed in the way that's supposed to. And like I said, there can be errors that arise as well. So it's not like ChatGPT is generating everything perfectly. Like I don't expect people to have just basic test suite needs. Like it's gonna probably be more advanced, right? So yes, I see ChatGPT being useful in a case of like it's speeding up your course, your workload. I mean, but I don't see it taking jobs as of yet. You still have to know what questions to ask. You still have to make sure that the code is efficient, and you still got to make sure that the code that's being generated is actually the code that's supposed to be generated. But during this hot streak of ChatGPT, that also leads to another question: is it lawful? Where is ChatGPT getting all this data from? So the way that ChatGPT gets its data is from text databases that is used throughout the internet. But I'm pretty sure that also includes information from GitHub repos. Did the person that ChatGPT grabbed or scraped that information from, did they agree for that information to be used for ChatGPT training purposes? Probably not, right? So that may be an issue that arises later on in the future. Is the use of the training material that is used for ChatGPT lawful? So that is one of the reasons why my job already kind of bans the usage of ChatGPT for client purposes, because we don't know yet, is it lawful? This is new territory, right? AI is using data for training. It's always going to have to use data for training to learn more stuff, how it's supposed to correctly give the proper responses based on the use case, right? So we have to keep that into account. What would the laws look like in the future for AI, right? Is the data used currently okay, right? So that's why my job already explained, okay, it's no problem for you to use ChatGPT for personal purposes, but for client work, you can't just generate test suites and just copy and paste and put it in, right? Maybe you can use it for inspiration purposes, like what is the best practices, yada, 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 but for the most part, like I said, you still gotta know what you're doing, and you shouldn't just copy and paste ChatGPT to get things done. I know another issue was that ChatGPT was used to generate test answers for students in a college course I read. So there's already a lot of morality issues, a lot of law issues that are already coming up, and it's gonna have to be addressed eventually. So that's another reason why I don't see ChatGPT, officially taking people's job yet, because of the fact that this is new territory, and where does it lie on the law scale? Like, is it this way or is it the other way, right? So we gotta figure that out first. Now, when it comes to future outlook on your job, I would always say it's always great to learn new things. There's so much data going around. Just ask your nearest data analyst. So with this data, it is cool that the fact that we can use AI to feed it this data, and it can give responses to benefit us as a society. But like I said, there are morality issues, there are law issues that has to be addressed. But I can already think of the many use cases that this can come up with. Like, say for instance, right, you have this AI that you put in issues that are wrong with patients, right? Pain issues, brain issues, different things in regards to health. Now you have a whole AI trained to give the proper analysis on what someone could be experiencing as a person, as a human being, and what product they should take to fix that issue. So if you gave the AI, for example, some data in regards to a person that's experiencing back pain, and they were able to take a certain vitamin or something that helped ease that pain for the back pain, now you have 100 different use cases that actually work for other patients using that same vitamin. Now you know that it's trained, so when a person goes into the system and put, okay, I have this type of back pain in this side of my back, okay, now it outputs, okay, you should take this vitamin, it has helped other patients, and it has this percent of correction rate. Like, it helped 80% of patients who took this vitamin in regards to that specific type of pain. So I can't really think about it in that use case. I can think about it, like I said before, with travel accommodations. There's just so many different things that you can do, and it has helped people with essays that I just read in college courses. Now, whether that's moral, that's completely different, but it's just cool of the different use cases you can use for AI. But at the end of the day, also, and what I'm worried about is that people are going to use this instead of their own brain, right? They're going to make sure that all the questions they're just going to put into this chatbot, and it's going to answer all the questions about life instead of actually thinking and sitting back and trying to think for themselves. So that's one thing that I'm worried about. And there's many more, like I said, taking people jobs and stuff. But I just don't want people to have this as their secondary or their first brain, while their actual brain is their secondary brain. Still think for yourself. Still try to get answers yourself, and then use it as a tool. Don't use it as your main source. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's the future outlook. Like I said, it's great that this is becoming a bigger thing, and it's always good to educate yourself. I'm not telling you to go learn everything about AI and become the best AI engineer that you can, but I would say that it would be beneficial to educate yourself on what is AI and just the basics, the foundational piece about AI, and hopefully I can create some videos about that to help you with that. But it's always good to educate yourself, and I'm not saying ChatGPT is going to be the main tool that takes your job or is going to take your job, but I will say companies are always looking to save money. So it might not be ChatGPT that take your job, but it might be another tool that uses AI that might take your job. So the future is always, you never know what the future is going to look like. Everything is always changing. So yes, ChatGPT might not take your job, but companies, like I said, is always looking to save money. So if they can, put some money towards a private company to make a tool that replaces software engineers, that might be something that they might look into. That's why I always say, this is a reminder actually, to always get better every single day. I mean, obviously there's certain things that are out of your control, but if you can become better in different things, do that. Don't just focus on one lane, right? Always diversify yourself. Always just try to be the best person that you can be, and that's all you can do. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Go ahead and subscribe. You can actually read this. I actually created a blog article for this. Read over it. It includes some links to different websites that you can read up about different things in regards to AI and open AI and stuff like that. So things that will be useful for you if you want to educate yourself more on this. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and hopefully ChatGPT doesn't get you too scared. It is a tool, so use it as you will. Just remember, it might not be lawful yet. There may be new laws that come out for it, and just try to make sure that you still use your own brain before you use that. So hope you enjoy.